Let's examine the code of our cloud function. Altogether, it's less than 100 lines of Python code. So what do we have here? We import module requests. That's the one we'll be using to send an HTTP REST request to Vonage servers, login to produce logging, auth to access environment variables, and JSON to just handle this error. So we retrieve two environment variables, API URL. By default, this is this address, but in case if Vonage will decide to change it in the future, then we don't have to change the code. We could just set it as an environment variable and timeout how long we wait for an answer from the remote server. Then, one of the most important parts of functionality, we map the incoming parameters, so that's the ones the function will receive, to how they are called in the outgoing requests, and we only have 3 of them. Service function, which just formats properly and returns the JSON structure with success code, error message, and any other additional arguments. And here's the main function, send message. So it gets a parameter request, which is an object which represents the incoming request sent from Add-on Mart to the cloud. We extract a value of header export1 trace ID. That's a unique ID for each request, which will greatly simplify troubleshooting later on. So using the trace ID, we form a string with the trace ID, which will be included in our log messages. So we can find out specific log pieces for individual requests. Then from our request object, we extract the data part, the JSON part, into a dictionary. We remap the parameters. So it looks at each key which is defined in our rename parameters dictionary, and then just puts them under new name in the dictionary payload. Okay, for purposes of easier troubleshooting and debugging, we put log message with this payload. Then we have to extract authorization information, which is also sent to us in this inbound request. And also we have to reformat the fields, so we use what is sent as the login is going to be our API key, and then what we use as either password or token will be used as API secret. So these are the parameters which is expected by Vonage API. If we don't get any authorization parameters, we just return an error because, well, we know we cannot send it. And then we send an HTTP request in case if it times out, and we'll log this and we return an error. If there's some other type of error, or maybe incorrect domain name or something else happened, then again we'll log this error and return an error. If we get a status code other than 200, so it could be 401, maybe if our authorization credentials expired. Something else is wrong on Vonage side. Again, we'll log it and we'll return an error. And then as a final step, we extract the JSON part from our response, which usually provides some useful information such as message ID of the sent message, what was the price applied to it, and so on. If we fail, then we log an error, but we still return a success because we know the operation completed successfully. And here's the part which is fine, how we expect things would go. So we just log a message, we log the whole structure received from Vonage, and we extract message ID from the structure received from Vonage, and we return success and with that message ID. This is it.